Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Diana, and I'm with Travel Avidly. And today we're going to be talking about a fantastic tour, a train tour that we have, our first one, that actually goes from Denver all the way across the Rocky Mountains to San Francisco and Napa Valley. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, tell you a little bit more about us as a company, and then more about this trip. Again, thanks for joining us today. We are talking about the Breweries to Vineyards trip. Take a train across the Rockies, Denver to San Francisco. And yes, as you can see, we do end in Napa Valley, and we'll be doing several winery visits there. So that's why I chose this picture. I thought it'd be kind of a really good incentive. Like, obviously, if there's going to be great wine, you can't miss this kind of a trip. So a little bit about us before we get started talking about the trip. Who are we and why are we different? Like I said, my name is Diana, and I am the director of Travel Avidly. We focus on small group trips, usually only 8 to 15 people. We do average right around 10 people per trip. This picture there on the left is a recent trip to Scotland that I was the trip leader for. And as you can see, we actually only had 5 people, which was amazing and fantastic. And then the guy taking the picture, Chaba, that was our driver and guide for our time where we were in Inverness and all the way up to Skye. So it was really, really a beautiful trip. This gives you a good idea of who we are. Our focus at Travel Avidly is really on building community. We have people who come on, multiple trips with us, and they come with a friend. The woman right at the very, very front, Teresa, and then Janet is kind of the most petite person in the picture. They actually have done a couple of trips with us, and they come and they take our trips together because they don't live in the same city. So this is how they actually spend time together. So people do develop lifelong friendships with our company, and they come on multiple trips, which I think says a lot about, the integrity of our company and how we work. Some cool things about our trips. Every trip, every tour is curated by local operators in each country. So that means that you get a really unique experience that's not available on the 40 on a bus. We do things like have dinner in people's homes, even, do homestays sometimes. We'll be doing a homestay in Nepal next year. We really try to create unique experiences that we can only do because we're small groups and because we work with very, very small operators and tour guides. And so we want you to, we want you to appreciate why you've chosen us and be like, wow, they really are different. They really do things different than other companies. We try as often as possible to set our trips as all-inclusive. So all activities, all admissions, and almost all meals are included. We often have a few that are not, and that's often during free time, or maybe there's a special dinner like there is in this case with Napa, where maybe not everyone is going to want to go, or people are going to want to go to different places. We have a really strong focus on learning. Prior to each trip, we do meet usually 2 or 3 times. We talk about the culture. We'll definitely talk about breweries. We'll talk about wineries, wine tasting, all of that in the meetings leading up to this trip. And so this is also a great opportunity for you to see other people who are going on the trip, get to know them a little bit. If you're looking for a roommate, this is a perfect way to kind of say, oh, wow, Janet looks like a super cool person. We should talk and maybe be roommates on this trip. So it's a lot of fun. And then you also, when you land, you already know people on the trip. You're not just showing up to a group of strangers. And the last thing I'll talk about before I jump in is that our flexible pricing. So you do have an option, especially with this trip, it's perfect to just put down 15%, and then you make monthly payments so that your final payment is paid 90 days out. With this trip, that could actually be quite affordable. There are no fees, there's no interest, there's no charges. Our pricing is very transparent. We try to be very clear and upfront about everything. With this trip not being until next August, this would be a perfect trip to use this payment plan for. Without further ado, let's talk about our trip. So everyone on day 1 will arrive in Denver. This will give us time to settle into our hotel. Ideally we'll go over all the specifics, but you'll plan to arrive in the mid-afternoon, and then we'll check into our hotel late afternoon, and then we'll get to actually visit, the lower downtown as well as the River North Arts District. And so have some time to walk around, just really get the cool feelings there, the cool culture. I picked this picture from Lodo there they are known for their murals and their mosaics on the sides of buildings, and just really cool, really artsy, really crafty, great place to walk around and have fun, especially in the evening. And this time of year will be nice as well. And then that evening we'll do a welcome dinner at one of the speakeasies there, and we'll also be able to sample some craft beers. That takes us to day 2. So we'll have a full day in Denver. First, we'll get up kind of early in the morning, not too early, but pretty early. And we'll do a Foothills of the Rockies tour. So really, really beautiful, not super, nobody's going to be pushed, not going to be super difficult, but it will be really, really amazingly gorgeous. We will have a van and a private driver for all of our time in Denver. And then that afternoon, we'll do at least one brewery tour, maybe even two, depends. We're trying to find some really, really cool places, some cool restaurants, some pubs, some microbreweries to be able to meet at and have some cool tours. And then that evening with dinner, we've got a restaurant chosen where we'll have a dinner with the beer pairing and tasting, kind of a tasting menu of sorts. So that should be a whole lot of fun in Denver. As we go through, I'll tell you a little bit about our accommodations for each place. So our first night in Denver, we're actually staying at a vacation home. I think it'll be really fun. It's a great way to meet everybody. You know, you'll get up in the morning and our trip leaders will actually put together a really nice breakfast for you, sort of buffet. We usually do things like quiche, selections of yogurt, making eggs of different kinds, you know, just a nice, healthy, lots of coffee, always lots of coffee to get everyone jump started for the morning. This is a really nice house. It's 6 bedrooms. It's only about 5 minutes from downtown. Again, we'll have the private driver with the van, so they'll pick us up, you know, take us in, take us for our, you know, everywhere we need to go, basically. But this should be a really nice kickoff for the trip. So day 3, this is when things really get started as far as getting on the train. So we'll be all aboard the Zephyr on day 3. It's a 33-hour train ride, so it is a bit of a long trek. So we got our heads together. We were like, okay, what can we do? How can we make this more interesting? Obviously, you have the Rockies, which is amazing. You're going through, you know, the Rockies in Colorado, then you're going through these amazing vistas, you know, through Utah, through Salt Lake City. So the views are beautiful. But we also wanted to add a few extra things. So we have a sommelier who's going to be coming with us. And she will actually be doing probably 1, if not 2, kind of, you know, classes. I say classes because we don't want you to feel like you're going to be overeducated here. But like, how do you do wine tastings? What are you looking for? What does the nose mean? Why do people spin the glass in that weird way? You know, what are all those things mean? And so you'll actually be able to arrive in Napa Valley with a very recent education of how to think about this, what you can learn, what kinds of questions to ask when you're going on the tours. What do they mean when they're talking about grapes? Why does it matter what kind of grapes they use? All that stuff. So it should actually be really, really fun. And yeah, give you some time where you're, you know, when you're not just, you know, looking out the window, enjoying the majestic, amazing, phenomenal views, and also a great time to get to know everyone else on the trip and be able to ask all these questions with the sommelier. A little bit about the Zephyr. We will be staying one night on the Zephyr. That is the name of the train that goes all the way from Chicago all the way to San Francisco. Actually, it starts before Chicago, but Chicago is kind of where everybody gets on. You know, anybody gets on, and we're getting on in Denver. So the cabins are fairly small, but they are very, very nice. We're doing first class, so we'll have a dedicated first class attendant who will, you know, get anything that you need. You can see the pictures of the lounge. We'll have complimentary lounge access. Our meals are all included. Even a little bit of alcohol is included, you know, a fair bit. So it should be very comfortable and pretty easy for that one night. And, you know, like several hours on either side of the day. But yeah, it should be really easy. And every cabin has its own bathroom as well. We always get asked about that. So after going through the Rockies, after enjoying this fantastic train ride, we will arrive in San Francisco on day 4. So we'll have, you know, I mentioned here the wine tasting on the train with sommelier. And so then we'll be arriving in the late afternoon. We'll go straight to, Fisherman's Wharf. And so we'll walk around, we'll have a tour. I don't know if we're going to actually have a guide because one of the people one of our trip leaders who's doing this trip knows this area really, really well. And also it's just really fun to walk around, you know. So walk around, we'll meet everyone together for dinner and just have, a really, really lovely afternoon in San Francisco. Oh, and also, yes, then we'll get checked in. We're actually staying at the Hotel Zephyr. We'll be there for 2 nights while we're in San Francisco. It's right in the center of Fisherman's Wharf. You can walk everywhere. And it's really cool because they're actually containers, and so shipping containers. And so they're recycled cargo containers, and they use upcycled nautical goods to create the space. So they call them captain's suites. So it's very unique, very cool, very San Francisco. And you actually have views of the Golden Gate Bridge. You've got fantastic views looking out the window, the mountains. So it's a really, really cool place. And like I said, you can actually also just walk out, walk around. Anytime something else isn't going on, you can, walk around Fisherman's Wharf, and it's just a really, really great area. So day 5 will be sort of our full formal day in San Francisco. And right now, what we're talking about doing is going to Alcatraz. However, the people who have signed up for the trip have already been, the people so far who've registered. So that is up for debate. And that actually leads me to a cool thing about our company, which is, if people say, wow, if 90% of everyone has already been to Alcatraz, we can actually move things around a little bit. We can do something else. We can see some other tour that people are excited about in San Francisco, and this is something that, because we do offer small group trips, this is a, freedom and flexibility that we have. If someone says, wow, I'm really interested in samurais in Japan, hey, we'll throw in a samurai museum. We can move things around a little bit, make some shifts, and really help make this the trip that you want it to be. But after the morning tour, which will probably be at Alcatraz, then we'll take a streetcar to Chinatown. And so we'll walk around Chinatown and we'll have lunch, hopefully dim sum. If everyone votes for that, that's obviously my vote because it's the best. So I totally think you should do dim sum. It's definitely worth having, and certainly worth having in San Francisco. And then that evening, that evening, we'll have free time to walk around, and everyone will have dinner kind of on their own. So you can just find a cool, fresh seafood restaurant, and people can sort of just relax a little bit, have a little bit of downtime after some busy days. And you should definitely enjoy your downtime because the next day is going to be action-packed. So we'll do a kind of a more formal driving tour of San Francisco. We'll get to, we'll stop at the Golden Gate Bridge, get to enjoy the view, look out over San Francisco. Just do some of the highlights of San Francisco that will, that aren't walkable. We will only be walking the day before on day 5. So we'll do that in the morning, just a short couple of hours, and then we'll go to Muir Woods, and we'll do only like a 1-hour hike, not a long hike, but this has been very, very popular. Everyone wants to do this, and it is amazing. The forest is phenomenal. And so, yeah, having some time out in nature, especially after a couple of days in San Francisco, being able to walk through this forest, will be a lovely, lovely reprieve. Again, just for an hour or so, not a super intense hike, just some time to enjoy nature. That afternoon, after lunch, we'll actually have 2 winery tours and tastings, and a little bit about some of the wineries we're going to be visiting. We are looking to spend time at very unique wineries and vineyards. The family-owned, really, really nice, really upscale boutique vineyards. We're not doing Sonoma. We're not doing the sort of ones everyone else does. We have some great contacts at some of the smaller, more exclusive ones, and so the tours should be really fun. We're still confirming those right now, but it will definitely be a lot of fun. That night, we'll be staying in the Archer Hotel in Napa. And this is located right in the center of Napa, which has a really great, very walkable downtown, really comfortable. This is a 5-star hotel. The rooms are fantastic. They're beautiful. There's a rooftop bar and a spa if you want any spa services. Those are kind of extra special for you. And yeah, it's a lovely, lovely hotel. And the location is unbeatable, especially after a day of walking around vineyards, doing all the tours will be fantastic, but then it'll be nice to come back and just crash and be at a really, really beautiful space. The next day, this will be all day, all wineries, vineyards, the whole day. This is all we're doing. It'll be fantastic. So we'll do between 3 and 4 very exclusive luxury winery vineyard tours and tastings. Again, we're still discussing these, but the suggested tours right now include Pine Ridge, Brand Winery, Cardinal Winery, HDV Winery, and Salvestrin, which is not one I'm familiar with. So if I've mispronounced it, I apologize. I don't know that one. But this day will be really, really lovely, but will be a full day of touring. So it will start early in the morning. And then that evening, we have a really, really special, I gave a little bit of a teaser earlier that we have this optional dinner that people can sign up for, and this is it. And it is really, really special. So we have, for anyone who wants to, they can actually sign up to have dinner at the French Laundry that evening. And this is a 3-star Michelin restaurant, and incredibly unique, delicious, amazing. We'll actually look at the menu in a minute. But it was opened by Chef Thomas Keller. He opened it in 1994, and it has continually been rated a 3 Michelin star restaurant since 2007. Now, Thomas Keller was born in America, and he is the only chef who's American-born who has 2 3-star Michelin restaurants in America, which is very cool. Dinner will be a little over $500, depending on what you choose and where we get seated, actually, where our reservation is made, depending on how many people sign up. But it's definitely, it's a 3-star Michelin restaurant, which honestly, $500 to $600 is a fantastic price for that. We're still getting a little bit of the COVID pricing. Before COVID, it was upwards of $800 for a dinner there. So this is an opportunity to grab this. If you're a foodie like me, you cannot miss this. it really, really will be delicious. We're hoping this time of year in August that the outdoor dinner, the outdoor courtyard will be where we eat. It is really, really beautiful. You can see that in the photograph here. And it should be, just like I said, a really special time. Just so you can sort of see some of the examples, these are the 2 tasting menus. Every day is a different menu. And so we've got the standard tasting menu, not that anything here is standard, and then also the vegetarian tasting menu on the right. So yeah, you can just get a taste, the risotto, the quail, the farm lamb, grilled steak and green salad. Obviously, that's pretty not as fancy sounding. But then you've got desserts, you've got all kinds of options here. And it should be really, really, really delicious. And definitely, I don't know how you could go and not sign up for this, but this is an optional thing because it obviously kicks the price up a little bit, but it really will be very special. And then, yes, the next day we head out. It's goodbye Napa. And then everyone flies back, back home from San Francisco. So a little bit of the pricing. Because we're doing the first class on the train, this is not sleep in the coach. In the coach seats kind of train ride. We do have all of the meals are included in the Zephyr. And we have the really nice little cabins. So that's why our double occupancy rate is $2,995. So that's if you're sharing a room. If you want the cabin in every place, if you want your own room, your own cabin, all of that, then it would be $35.95 for the single upgrade. So what's included in this? All accommodations for all 7 nights. This includes the Denver Brewery tour and the brewery tastings. The tour of Denver's, all the private tours basically that we do. The meals as indicated, which they were mostly, it's all the breakfasts, a few of the lunches, a lot of the dinners, and then we do have a lot of lunches and stuff that you'll be responsible for. But we do include the majority of the meals. And then also all the Fisherman's Wharf tour, the Alcatraz tour, the Chinatown tour, everything is included. The Muir Woods hike, the admission, everything is included with that. And also included, which is really great, and this is why I'm so glad we have such amazing contacts, there won't be any additional cost for you for the winery tours. Some do encourage us obviously to buy wine and have it shipped back home. So we definitely encourage that, but there won't be any extra charges for that. And so, yes, this is the thank you from the Tuscany trip, so I didn't update it with a nice Napa photograph. But yes, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your time. I did pretty great there. I kept it in under 20 minutes, which is my goal for our info sessions, for our trip descriptions. And yeah, like I said, my name's Diana. It's Diana with 2 N's. Feel free to email me, Diana at travelavidly.com, our website here, travelavidly.com. And you can, click there to read through the itinerary. If you have enjoyed the visuals, but you want to read it all through, that's a great place to go. And then this is my phone number. I do prefer texting, but you can also call anytime. I'm living in Europe right now, so the time zones are a little bit messed up, which is why texting is really, really easy and a great way to connect. And then we can set up a time to talk if you have any more questions.